Welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We're going to do things a little differently tonight since we have operations to work with for the marina. We're going to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance like we always do and everything else, and then we're going to have a few little items to discuss. After we get that discussed, we're going to go into executive session. We have a few proposals for the marina. After we discuss some of the proposals in executive session, we're going to come back out, continue our council meeting, do whatever we need to do for the marina as far as making motions to accept the deal or not accept the deal. And then we're going to go on and have our finance meeting after that. So everybody that's sitting here comfortably, we're going to have to disrupt you and have you move back outside for just a little bit so that we can deal with this marina issue. And then we'll be back into regular session. So if you would like to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please roll call, please.
Mayor Michael?
Here.
Member Hart? Here. Member Barnes?
Here.
Member Bolter? Here. Member Borowski?
Here.
Member Gifford?
Here.
And City Attorney Fisher's absent.
Okay, Jack will be in later on because of the election. He's doing everything necessary for the Board of Elections. The topic for tonight, this is partly of the budget, is the marina. I can run into the whole story of the marina, how we managed to inherit it. I've been told several different ways. We have to do a lot with when they done the dirt from the flood wall. A lot of it came out of the marina area, and somehow or another we wound up getting lease money for it. Like I said, I apologize to you because I have no idea how that happened. And I don't know if anybody here in the room has any idea how that happened. But after DCI bought the lease from Laney Holbrook, he had it for a few years. The economy dropped, things happened. DCI decided to, I guess the best way to do it would be to try to relieve himself of some of the debt he had. So we turned the marina back over to Park National Bank along with a couple other pieces of property. Park National Bank had it for 2 or 3 years, I really don't remember how many. They never did really open it up and do anything with it except just to have the voters. After 2 or 3 years, Dave, you know how long they had it? 2 years. 2 years. After 2 years, they realized that it was not a money maker at all. So they contacted us and said, we are going to give you the marina, the lease, the 9 acres or so that's sitting to the, I guess would be to the west of the marina. They did not get back to ground. It was on top of it because they owned that property. That was totally bought out through different deals, but they owned that. So we inherited the marina. Long story short, we accepted proposals from people to run the marina. We selected a group. Their money guy fell out. They never did really have the funds in order to do anything with it. So after a lengthy process, we more or less evicted them. Now the marina's been sitting there. We've been trying to do our best to do something with it, and quite frankly, it's going to be a huge drain on the city, and we don't want the drain. We're not in the marina business. We have no idea how to handle the marina business. So we've been trying to sell it if at all possible. We've had a lot of people come down and look at it. We've had a lot of people say they're going to give us proposals. We have gotten some proposals. A couple of the ones we got were even worth mentioning. But lately we've had the concept of like 3 or 4 people that have stepped up to the plate and are willing to give us a proposal. We got 3 of them, I think, here tonight. So what we have to do is go into executive sessions, which we're allowed to do for the sale or purchase of property. Listen to these proposals from these people, review what we have, talk to them ourselves, and then we'll come out of the executive session, make a motion to sell it, to run it ourselves, to expand it, shrink it, whatever we think we want to do. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. James Waite. Can I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's a member who wants to read.
Thank you, Mayor. Members, good evening. Mr. Giffen. Hi, my name's Jim Waite. I work for Dave Jose. I'm the general manager of the Green Derby Restaurant in Newport. And Mr. Jose and I have worked together for a very great number of years. And I'd like to read a letter, please, that I addressed originally to Mayor Rankle. I work for Dave Jose as general manager of the Green Derby Restaurant in Newport. I've been working with Dave and I'm aware of his plans and proposals to rehab and operate the Manhattan Harbor. I recently made inquiries to the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control and was informed that there is no current license, and any licensed applicant would be subjected to the same requirements as the new applicant. See the attachment letter to Dave Jose. I'm aware that during the last 6 weeks, Dave has made numerous proposals to you and the city administrator and has modified it and adjusted plans to suit your concerns. His proposal included at least $850,000 in improvements in the first 6 weeks and more than $1.2 million in a year. That included installation of new planking for boat slip docks A, B, and C, refloat and repair the reef restaurant, extensive landscaping, painting, relocating the Green Derby Restaurant to Manhattan Harbor, improving dock access, general repairs and maintenance. He expected a reply to his last proposal, which included all that you had asked for, after your previous meeting, May 6, 2014. Since that time, his calls have gone unanswered, and no one from the city of Dayton has extended him the courtesy of a reply. Mr. Jose is still vitally interested in the city of Dayton and the Manhattan Harbor. He has the resources: painters, carpenters, electricians, riggers, machine operators, trucks and truck drivers, track hose, cranes, and all other means of production, and the track record of rehabbing major products for more than 40 years. He has an ongoing restaurant that could be relocated to Manhattan Harbor in days, not weeks, not months, not next year. If Manhattan Harbor is allowed to fester for another boating season, the ripple effects to the riverfront projects and the city are inescapable and could be devastating. The Ohio River has risen to above 42 feet twice since Mr. Jose made his proposals. The reef restaurant could have been refloated and repaired on either of those occasions, the second ending this Thursday. The restaurants would be open this weekend and repairs and rehabilitation would be in progress. Boaters and citizens alike would be welcome to a vibrant atmosphere. Instead, boaters are leaving, gas is unavailable, utilities are not functioning, the marina is in disrepair. All while Mr. Jose's proposals have gone unanswered. The people of the city of Dayton deserve to have the city's assets preserved and protected. Mr. Jose proposes to do exactly that. So, thank you. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
I'd like to comment if I may. Since some of that was directed at me, I'll kind of clear the air, because obviously you've been misinformed a little bit. David Jose presented us with a proposal. I have a copy of that here. All of y'all have a copy of that. It was dated May 3rd. When I got that proposal, I immediately gave it to the mayor, and he determined that it was not a good offer. But even if so, I still presented it to the finance committee a few days later, whatever that was, May 5th or May 6th. After that time, I called David Jose and told him the deal was unacceptable. He was obviously not happy, but that was that. And then 2 days later, I got a new proposal on a scratch piece of paper that was even worse. So, it being an even worse proposal, I did not take that to the city council. So that should clear up the air on that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to say anything before we go into executive session? Okay. At this time, we'd like you to go into executive session so we can discuss the proposals for the marina.
So moved.
Motion been made, second, all in favor? So we're going to go into executive session. I apologize to you for having you to leave the room, but unless we can do it. Okay. I make a motion to come out of executive session. Second. Motion made, second, all in favor? Okay. All right, we're going to executive session to talk about the sale or lease of the Manhattan Harbor. I think we came up with some type of proposal. Jack, welcome. If anybody wants to make any type of a motion.
I'll make a motion, we enter into a contract with Manhattan Harbor Yacht Club for the purchase of the marina and the 9 acres, as outlined in the proposed contract.
A
I second. Let me ask you a question, is that 9 acres or 8 acres?
It's to be worked out.
We're going to be resurveying it to know exactly what it is. It's 8 to 9 acres. What the proposal is that
We did have Cardinal take a quick look at that, and he's estimating 8.5 acres. He's estimating from the edge of the blacktop to the other property.
basically what it is that the marina will be sold for $500,000. The additional acreage will be sold for $400,000, which will give us a total price of $900,000 for the marina and then the ground that's, the lower part of the ground that surrounds it. The upper ground has already been bought and taken care of a year or so ago. And what we're going to do is, we will be given, if the motion passes, we will have a $50,000 check immediately. After sometime in July, we're going to get the remaining $450,000, and then they're going to make the payments on the original ground, the other 8 acres, as they start to develop that piece of ground, with a total of $900,000. So the motion's been made, second, any other comments? Give a roll call, please.
Yes. Member Burns?
Aye.
Member Volter? Aye. Member Brusky?
Aye.
Member Gifford? Aye. Member Hurd?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Here's a check for $50,000, which will give it done. So what this means is that the city may no longer have any liability on this marina. So if it's going to be, whatever happens, the game plan basically is going to be, I think what's going to be happening is that the marina is going to be shrunk down some, probably no smaller. We're going to put a stipulation in here that the marina shrinks down no smaller than 250 to 300 slips. We also believe that the Tropics restaurant will probably no longer be in existence, which is probably a good thing because it needs a lot of repair. The styrofoam underneath of it's sucking up water, and it's a big issue. It's a very big issue. And then the reef may or may not exist. What we're hoping to do is see some development all the way around it. So hopefully it's a good deal. This puts the whole, the big thing with this more than anything else is this puts the whole riverfront back so that they can, more importantly, fill the 8 acres and then continue the road from one end to the other. The road is the big issue. We need a road from one end to the other. So, okay.
Well, I've got anything to say?
Well, Ms. Lakewood, family?
No, I just want to say thank you. I do think it really helps the large, the development, the whole part of it, because a lot of people didn't realize there were easement issues with that last transaction, and just us, now we have the ability to bring the whole road all the way through. As you see, we're already a third through on Blacktop, so there won't be any delays, and we've already brought in about 100,000 yards of dirt in that area. Now we can focus on bringing all of that out of the 100-year floodplain, and, we can get moving a lot quicker. So, thank you.
And I feel myself very confident that we've got some good people around that now. We're going to be on the right path. You're good neighbors.
Thank you.
I think the biggest thing, though, is the city is now out of the lease. We don't lease that anymore, it's out of our hands. And the slow bleed, that marina down there was bleeding the city for monies and monies and monies. And now it's in those gentlemen's hands back there.
Right. I know, I ran that, and just like I said, this electric bill alone was like $100,000. You know, you have no idea the expenses. It was just it was a money pit, but we're gonna fix that.
It was a money pit out of the city, too.
Yeah, I know.
I do want to say that we had some excellent proposals from several people, and this was one of the best that we saw, and we gave consideration to everyone's proposals. So,
Michael, I'm going to turn it back over to you for finance.
Everybody should have a copy of the proposed fiscal year 2015 budget, and it has with it the current fiscal year, what we're budgeted for, as well as fiscal year 2013, fiscal year 2012, and 11, and the actual amounts. Just a kind of a brief overview. The current fiscal year we are in required a $357,000 general fund carryover to balance the budget. In the years past, that number has grown. In 2012 and 2013, we needed 338. In 2011 and 2012, we needed 250, so on and so forth. So that number has grown a little bit over the years. The reason, currently in this fiscal year that we're in, we'll have profit and loss statements for that. We're currently showing a net income of $156,476. Based on some projections on previous years, we should ride in. It's my goal to ride in at breaking even. If we were to go over that amount that we have right now, that would start eating into the $357,000 that was brought up to balance the budget. So as of right now, we're in pretty decent shape. I've got all the department heads kind of watching the expenses. We were aided, obviously, in some things that have kind of helped us to keep a net income, but it will be close. We don't have a lot of income coming in towards the end of the fiscal year, and expenses going out. That doesn't change. So that's kind of our goal right now is to come in and break even, and obviously to hopefully save a little money. I think last year we ate around $3,000 from the carryover. So notoriously we've had to carry money over to balance the budget. But I think last year was the first year we actually had to eat into that amount, and thankfully it wasn't very much. And again, this year I'm hoping that we don't have to eat into it at all, so we're working very hard on that. The proposed budget sees that amount raised from $357,679 to $373,060.27. Now, we did a pretty good job of tightening up all of our expenses. In fact, from our expenses, I eliminated almost $100,000 of budgeted expenses. The issue is we don't have as much rental income coming in. We didn't get the $84,000 that had come in from the marina every year this year. So even though we tightened up quite a bit, we had less money coming in, which is why the net income amount was raised roughly $15,000. So I'd be happy to kind of break down the sections of the budget going forward. In the revenue section, in this budget that you all have, the proposed budget, I did not put in an increase for taxes. I did raise it to $772, and that was based on the amount of money that we've brought in so far this year. To date, we've brought in $782,637, so I did raise that amount, and I did raise the tangible amount. If anybody sees anything else that we have questions on, obviously we're bringing in, as I said, less money than we brought in last year, and the big part of that is because of $84,000 shortfall in lease income that we don't have coming in anymore.
I think it would be better for us if we had a little more time to look at it rather than, before we ask you questions.
Sure. As I said, going into the expenses section, under general government, I did put in a 2% increase for all employees across the board, with the exception of a few individuals. Public Works asked for a dollar increase for both full-time employees, John and Herman, so I did put that in. The police chief asked for a little extra for the police clerk, who's actually not only doing her duties as the police clerk, but also helping Don out in our code enforcement, so I honored that and also gave her a dollar increase. But everybody else, excluding myself, has a 2% salary increase. Looking through the various things, as I said, we tightened up a lot of the departments to try to catch maybe some of the built-in fluff that was there, but we also didn't want to eliminate too much as to prevent funds being available if there was a breakdown in equipment. So that's something that had to be looked at very closely. Obviously, when doing this budget, I had to keep in mind the thought that we could possibly be running the marina for the entire year and beyond. So far, the funding that has come to cover the marina hasn't come out of the general fund, it's come out of our economic development fund. But with that in mind, with the fear that we may have to manage that marina for the full year, is part of the reason that we look to tighten up some of these departments. As I said, every department was looked at very closely and tightened up. They were all decreased from the years past. The only one that was an increase is the fire department. And in the fire department, you also see the $36,000 sinking fund that was agreed upon last year. That every year each city would put in $36,000 to an account to help cover big expenses for purchase for new equipment and new vehicles down the road. So that's included in that amount, but it's a separate line item from the fire department. Each city has their own line item in the general fund, but we did move it there for the purpose of showing that it does go in the fire department section. Under Public Works, I've had extensive conversations with Rick about how if we were going to put in a proposal to hire a new employee, or if you would like rather have two part-time. At this point, you can see we just have one part-time employee in there, but I would like to possibly look at the addition of an additional employee so that he has two part-time employees for the summer that would run through October. I put in under building services, Don and I talked about the possible part-time light inspector this year, and he requested to not have a part-time light inspector, so that is not in the budget, but it is something that could be looked at. And under Main Street, I put in a salary of $35,000 for a new Main Street employee. Just to give you a quick update on that, we've gotten over 25 applications. I kind of weeded out some of the weaker ones and gave copies to the Main Street chair and Main Street vice chair. And we're going to spend the rest of the week kind of reviewing those. There's still a couple more that are trickling in. But we hope to start the interview in the next couple of weeks and hopefully have a new Main Street manager hired. So we put in and kept the Main Street salary in the budget.
Can we take Main Street manager to be on board?
I think ideally we could have one by mid-June, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for. A couple, if there's any other points, like I said, I didn't put in an increase for taxes, and with the Finance Committee, we talked about a couple different options, and I'd hope we can open that up for discussion tonight. Obviously, the trend of increasing the amount that we have to carry over to balance the budget every year is getting a little scary. One of the reasons that I think that's going to save us this year from not eating into our reserves, several factors. One, when I came in this new position, obviously we stopped taking money out of the Main Street salary, and obviously the difference in my income and Dennis's income is saving us some money there. There was a travel expense account that Dennis had that we're saving money in, and a few others, but going forward, that's not always going to be the case. We're not going to have those kind of those saving graces that could help pad a budget towards the end of the year. So I'd really like to look at that a little bit more in depth to try to get a control of that from having that skyrocket. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you may have. And that's kind of where we're standing right now. So I encourage you all to look that over in depth. I'm sure we'll have more discussions on this, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Michael, I think we need to look at a part-time light inspector, because one man can't do this job himself. We hear every month that the light, and, we get emails saying that the grass is falling. Don just can't get around doing it. Plus, as you said, the police department lady, Kathy, she's doing some, the paperwork, so if we could have we find the money to put a part-timer in during the summer. And I know it's gonna hurt the police department, but how much more blight that we can get taken care of, so, and that's what we need to do in the city, so.
Why do you want part-time? Why do you want part-time?
If I get one, I want one with computer skills and somebody can do all aspects of my job, okay? I don't want to just ride around looking for it.
Didn't you have one last year, Don? Or a year, 2 years ago?
Being a supervisor, and that girl can do it every day. And if I have, and can help, I'd like to have something like that.
Yeah.
If I can't get that, I don't want to.
Right.
But isn't Cassie's role, is Cassie still doing the data input, taking my person on the street?
Cassie's doing all the clerical work. What I do is, we got me a hot copy on the computer, and I email the stuff into Cassie, write it up, email it, and her, she processes it. It's working pretty good.
But if we had 2 people, you could do twice as much. If you had 2 people, yourself and another person,
If I have 2 people that could do what I do, then that's fine, but if I have somebody riding around looking for high grass.
no, I agree, it's not worth it.
All it does is create more work for me if I do that.
But if they had the computer skills and some knowledge that you could, then you could pass the rest of the knowledge on, you could,
Another day,
Why don't we post the job? Why don't we post the job with all those qualifications for a part-time person? Is that hard to do?
Yep, it's we're doing the same thing that we did for administrative.
Chief, on the, I see just the cruiser back out of your budget is roughly, so we don't need part-time?
Police acting in pretty good shape right now.
Okay.
So we're guys maintaining, routine maintenance and keeping check on their cars.
but what happens next year, chief, when you put excessive miles on it this year, and then we don't have nothing? Or you think you're gonna need, instead of 1 this year, you think you're gonna need 2 next year? No, or are we fighting ourselves to say, let's not do 1 this year, but we have to do 2 next year?
No, I think we will need one next year, but I think this year, we're pretty good.
Okay.
Are we thinking about taking a compensating rate for taxes?
Yeah, I think so. Unless they take a tax increase, that's for sure. The compensating rate would be fine.
Is anybody concerned that we may take $373,000 out of the surplus to balance this budget? To me, that's a little scary.
Well, the thing is, if we're going to look it over and read it, and see if we can cut some stuff in this budget, maybe. I just can't see raising taxes.
$373,000 is a lot of money to take out of the surplus if we have to use it.
That's what I said, we need time to look it over and see where we're at with it.
So when will we connect on this? That, they will balance, but they'll go by the end of June, correct?
Yes, and that would include two readings. You could do it so that one reading is in the second, first meeting in July, because the law says while you have to have a balanced budget, if you don't have it by July 1st, you go by the budget of the year before.
Right.
So you would be restricting yourself to only those expenditures, but you could still apply them.
So there's no money in here for any type of grant proposals or sidewalk grants or Main Street grants or anything like that? That's all been cut out?
It's all eliminated.
Square about.
I do want to add, with the fire department budget, they put in for a 6% increase based on the base amount this year. That included a raise of roughly 3% for their employees. There were a couple that were a little higher than that, and then some other things that they asked for were for building repairs. I've talked with Keith Spokler in Bellevue, and they're trying to get a 2% raise for their employees across the board. That's what I'm doing for mine. We both agreed that that's the way it should be done for the fire department as well. So in this budget is reflected a 6% increase, and that includes the increases that they have requested. It does not include a 2% increase. But based on what Bellevue's doing and what we're trying to do for our employees, I think we should keep it consistent across the board, so I would like to add that point.
What do you guys going to do for salary increases, Mike? Do you know?
As far as
2%, 3%?
We have 3 in for everybody. 5 years ago, we got 0, and all those cities got 2 or 2.5, so I just trying to stay comparable with our neighboring cities, so I don't lose any more people, that's why I went up.
We have no funding in here for the YMCA either.
Well, that's something that the finance committee had talked about, but we didn't ever.
We need to put that in there.
That's right.
I think these are things that we need to look at. I think the Y is a great benefit. I totally agree. We've done a lot of work on the ministry, I think we need to get some money back in the Main Street, so I think that's going to moving forward also. But it's just, $373,000 out of surplus is a lot of money.
Yeah, but how much went into the marina? That was $300,000.
No, because it all came from
But it came from economic
We pretty well depleted our economic development. We have maybe $200,000 in there, because we've been taking all the money out of there to pay for the computer systems, to pay for the marina that we need to do so far.
Sir, last year, the money for the Y came out there too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's about 200,000 right now.
Yeah. Probably started out from 500, we've got to 200.
Now, can you give an update on all the funds?
Are you asking about an update, like a bank balance update, or
If you have those,
the bank balances? Yes, what is in each account,